Other side, Tay.
Other side, Tay.
She's lefty. Swings lefty.
Swings lefty.
She's messed up. There's Pappy.
Oh, he stepped in.
She's going to second.
Just start at first and run to second.
Now he's just jogging.
Whatever. Hey, how old are you?
12.
Whatever, you're 13. 5-year-olds as fast as you. All right, hey everybody, it is Friday, October 2nd, and I've not made a video yet today. This is gonna be the first one I've made. I'm just cleaning up the tractor and the grain cart, getting everything greased up on it, ready to go. I was just messing around while I was airing up a tire, spray painting a part of the head on the combine. And if you're gonna do something, do it right. Don't stand on a bucket that is filled with motor oil. Yeah, it broke. The lid broke, and I don't think I can wash these jeans. These boots might be shot too. Hey, so if you guys have not liked or subscribed to my channel, now would be a good time to do it. I would really appreciate it. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm at 100, so we got some work to do. I am heading down to John Deere. It's about a 20-minute drive, 30-minute drive from my house. And I got to pick up a nut for a gearbox that the blade goes on for the loader. It's been out of commission for a while. Hopefully they have the right nut. They may not. The New Holland dealer didn't have it. There's 3 or 4 other hardware stores in the area. They didn't have it either. So while I'm down here, I did order some tail lights, some new tail lights for the 8300. And then also I had to I got to pick up a little thing I bought back this last summer. I've just not picked it up yet. So I think it'll make life a lot simpler through the winter. Yeah, this is what I picked up this morning. Used baling roller. It's not great, needs a little work done to it, but I think it'll work a lot better than doing it by hand. Yeah, it's a lot easier than doing it by hand. Plus, we got a few too many head of cattle in here. It's about 34, 35 on 10 acres. So the reason I got that bale unroller are for 2 reasons. First reason being is the cows waste, our cows waste a lot of the hay in hay rings. Now we'll still feed them in hay rings too, especially through the winter. But we've got so many cows in there, we have to feed them more or less year round. And we shouldn't have that many head of cattle on that few of acres. So we have to find ways to make sure that it's productive and efficient enough that we can still have cows. But by all rights, you know, we really need to get rid of about 10 or 15 of them. but we're still going to have to feed hay most of the year. So farming around where I'm at, I am just south of major city limits, about 10 minutes, really about 10 miles. So most of the fields I've got are fields that nobody else wanted to farm. They've not been farmed for 20, 30 years until I picked them up back in 2017. So now where the cows are at, my dad lives right there. It's actually in the middle of a subdivision. So it works for us, but would I like to have more cattle? Yeah, I would. We're just not able to have them right there. All right, here I am up on the ball field doing a stand count and a pod count. As you can tell, they are starting to die out and dry off. So I pulled one plant down here where it's kind of going down, and beans are shorter, but still it's got 48 pods on there with 9 plants and 21 inches. That comes to about 60 bushel an acre. I don't know. I hope that's what it is, but do I expect it? No. But these beans look really good. So I've not done it up here yet. I've not seen how many pods are in plants and plant count here for 21 inches. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll let you know what I find out. Okay, these beans right here behind me, I pulled a plant, counted 47 viable pods, 1 inch or longer, or that have beans in them. If they didn't have, some of them did not have beans in it, so I pulled those off. So there were 47 pods left. I took that times the 2.5 average beans per pod, and then I took that times the plants per 21 inches, which was 12, and then I divided it by 18. Comes up to a little over 78 bushels an acre. Will I get it? I'm also going to show you the bad parts here. So there's a lot more grass down here. So we're going to pull a plant and we're going to do another stand count. It is going to be dinged here because there's so much grass in the row. It is what it is. All right, this is the one that I pulled. I'm not being biased or anything. This one had, I believe I counted 20 or 32 pods on it. So not very many. And there are pods. I just happened to grab one that didn't have very many pods on it. There were plants right next to it that had more. There were some next to it that had less. So there were 9 plants and 21 inches. So that comes to about 30 bushels an acre. Still is above break even by quite a bit. So if we come up to 30 bushels an acre here, I'll still be happy, guys. I am driving through the woods, making one last check of these wells for the day. I think I see a little deer up here. Maybe it's a buck. Maybe. Right up here, right as we around the corner, it is a little spike. Just a little guy. I think we got a few more. 1, 2, 3 more does with them. It is September 29th. I just went and pulled a couple ears off of one of the fields. Gonna count the number of seeds, number of rows, and number of kernels in a row so I can get a halfway accurate stand count and kind of what it looks like we're going to be on yield. Also see where we're at in the dry down process. They're still pretty wet. I mean, they were late. It was late planted corn anyway. We do have a chance here Thursday night into Friday morning. There is a chance of frost. They're saying it's going to get down into 38, 39. I hope it doesn't. I don't think it will. But you know how meteorologists are. All right, so these are the 3 ears I pulled. Pretty good representation. We do have some loss up here at the tips. Most of this has been done due to insect damage. There was some abortion down here, some seed abortion down here, due to lack of probably moisture and nutrients. But we're gonna crack these here and see where we're at. So they do have pretty good kernel depth. Not very many around, but I mean those are some pretty decent sized kernels. So I mean you can see they're the size of my thumb, maybe half the size of my thumbnail. Yes, I mean they're pretty good. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 12 around by about 39 long on that one. The milk stage, you can see the line right there about halfway through the milk line. So I mean, like I said, it's going to be late corn, but I mean it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with the size of the ears overall. I was a little concerned, but I mean, well, I can make that work. I can make that work for sure. As long as the entire field's like that, I'm happy with that. All right, so this one was 16 by 38, minus those couple rows there. I don't know how to add that in, but minus that. And this one was 14 by 43. Smaller kernels on this one though. But still, overall, I'll take that. And then somebody's wanting to be fed. So I have not been making very many videos. The reason being is twofold. Get out from underneath my feet, cat. The reason being is I was diagnosed with the corona. So I've not had any symptoms, had to quarantine. Me, the kids, and Kylie have all got it, and actually Dad has it too. So the only one that showed any symptoms or any signs of symptoms was Kylie. So she had a bit of a hard time with it. But me and the kids have all been fine. She's getting better, Kylie's getting better now. Dad's fine. So I don't know. So I had to quarantine and do all this other bull crap. But one thing I am going to look into is this thing keeps dying on me. And there's this little lid right here. Got to figure out how to open this. See if there's any fluid in the radiator. Only problem is my back has been killing me since before we found out that me and the kids all had corona. I was sleeping on the couch for like a week and a half, and my back is killing me. So that sucks. All right, so I figured it out. There's actually a nut that goes right there with a bolt. And yeah, that's how it goes. I think we're a little low. We'll throw some in there. Probably some in there. All right, we got 1.5 inches of rain here the other day. And I don't know if it'll help these beans or not, but the ground is muddy. Beans are starting to die off in the 50-acre field. Beans on this end are really short. Good grief, there's a lot of pods. I mean, look at that. I don't know if that's coming through. I mean, look at that. That thing is just freaking loaded. Loaded with pods. But it's only 1.5 feet tall. Now they're gonna get better further out this way I go, because I'm still within 75 yards of the tree line. I got a long way to walk. And it's muddy. As I'm walking, I'm still pretty close to this tree line. I still got a ways to go. These beans are belly button high out here. Even in this, I mean, this foxtail dinged the yield for sure, but there's probably, I don't know how many pods there are here without counting on this plant. There's 3, 4 things on here with pods on them. Let me count it. All right, this plant has 64 pods on it. Average 2.5 beans probably per pod. But there's a lot of these plants in here that are this good or better. It's crazy. Okay, so I just did a stand count. We've got an average on 4 different places of 10 plants and 21 inches. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to average 3 plants that I pulled from those areas. This one had 64. This about 15 acres is really, really good. This is one that I kind of pulled in between. This one had 42, I believe. And this one is right up here. I pulled right out here. And this one has 28. So if I did my math right, I took an average of 46 pods per plant, average of 10 plants and 21 inches. I took that times 2.5, and then I divided it by 18 for an average size bean, and that came up to 63 bushels an acre. On this field, I've never gotten more than 15 bushels an acre. So differences this year, what I did was I in-furrow fertilized. I foliar fertilized with Big Yield twice. When I say fertilize, this is organic certified foliar feed. So I did that twice with 2 gallons per application. And then I also tine weeded once. I have to go back and look at my videos. Either I did it once, maybe twice. I know I did it once for sure. I should have done it twice. That's what it was. I should have done it 2 times, and I was only able to do it 1 time. I did row cultivate twice. So average of 63 bushels an acre. This portion here is really good. And then on the other side of those trees right there, this is the big portion of the field. That is 1/3 of the field right there. Those beans are phenomenal. I also used the seed treatment. God, that name is slipping my mind. Okay, I want to clarify something. The foliar fertilizer I was using was Big Yield Topper. Big Yield Topper. And then they also have a sweetener that I was throwing in there too. All certified organic products, but it can also be used on GMO crops and Roundup crops, all that stuff. So and then the seed treatment I was using for the soybeans was Big Yield Coat Soy, and that provides all the micronutrients that the seed needs to jump out of the ground. So things I was using this year were different than any that I've done in years past. Again, are the tine weeder, in-furrow liquid fertilizer, the seed coat, both on corn and soybeans, Big Yield corn coat and soy coat, and then Yield Topper twice, 2 gallons an acre per application. So we'll see how this translates to the rest of the crops and the rest of the soybeans. This is one of my better looking fields, I'm going to be honest with you. Not the cleanest, but that is one of the better looking fields. I do have other fields that are cleaner and yields look pretty close, but not exactly that good. We'll see what happens. Now, the determining factors that a yield comes into are two things. Can we get a frost to kill off the weeds that are out there? Because right now, even if the beans are dry, we can't go out and combine those beans until the weeds that are out there are dead, because they'll leave a stain on the beans. The other thing we have to take into account for is how long that's going to take. Is it going to be mid-November? I hope not. But is it going to be mid-November, mid-December by that point? We'll have to wait and see. Are we going to get an early snow that is going to knock off a lot of those pods? I hope not. Are we going to get any hail between now and then? So there's just a lot of things that are going to come into play. Perfect world scenario, let's say we average 60 bushels an acre. That's a lot better than what we've got in the past. We still have to get that 60 bushels an acre through the machine and into the grain tank. We're not done until it's through the thresher and into the grain tank and into the grain bin. Looks promising so far. I looked at my yields in the past. The best I'd ever averaged on that entire field as an average was 15. I'm gonna say we've got a big jump this year. Now we just got to get it through the machine. What? Kitten? What? What, kitten? Kitty. Go catch a mouse. I think we've had some deer damage. What do you guys think? Alright, so I'm down here in the lagoon, and as you can tell, these are starting to turn a little bit, and the truck's back there a little ways. It does get weeder further you go that way, and there is a patch of weeds right there about where my fingers are at. So all in all, it's not terrible. Further you go that way, those were the last planted beans that we got on this field, and they are extremely short, but they do have a lot of beans on them. These, I bumped up the population to right at 170. We'll see how that translates into yield increase, but these do have quite a few pods. These do have quite a few pods. These are a late season, late maturity bean. They are not quite waist high. Overall, I'm still pretty happy with this. So they're shutting down now. Alright, so in this field, I've got average of 43 pods per plant and average of 12 plants per acre, or 12 plants per 21 inches. So 43 times 12 times 2.5 divided by 18. That's an average of 71.6. Do I think I'm going to get 71.6 beans? Yeah. Do I think I'm going to get 71.6 bushels an acre here? No doubt. They don't do as good going that way. We're only getting about 30 pods per plant. Same number of plants per 21 inches though. But I mean, it's still something. And I do have a little bit of foxtail here. The edges are terrible with it, but there's still beans there, and that's only within the first 3 or 4 rows. So what can you do? This portion here was plowed. I plowed deep, and I never did tine weed this. Down on that end where I plowed and I tine weeded, I'll show you. Alright, so I'm on the other end of the field now. This portion was replanted July 10th, I believe. And it's about 20 acres of this 50-acre field. And maybe not 20 acres. So you can tell it's a lot cleaner, but being that it was planted so late, you can tell these beans are short. They're knee-high at best. But I've never seen knee-high beans put on 25 and 30 pods. They are loaded with beans. I don't know. Now, getting them picked up, if I can get the things out of the way, the leaves. I mean, they're just 25 and 30 pods per plant. They're stacked, and they're stacked low. I'm hoping that they'll get taller, but I don't think that's going to happen. And we've got deer damage still. A lot of these tops are clipped off.